voracious could get this urge. Stay woke, youngin', and avenge these nerds.
That's a little different tonight.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that.
I like that song in the beginning. I was like, damn it.
A little different, little change of pace.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we got to change the pace. This is what is the Inbeon Con Eve right here. We're just the week. We've been talking about this for a minute, have we not? Oh, man.
Wow.
Exactly, because we got a great show for everybody tonight. How you guys doing?
Great.
Good.
Great.
Good. Hey, it's a good week to be a nerd.
Yes. Yes.
Yes,
I mean, we've seen
yes.
Spider-Man alone. I mean, I'm excited. There's so much things going on right now. But we'll get into that.
We're all
we're
eagerly waiting for that Spider-Man trailer to launch, even though we watched it on the recording of the cell phone of a cell phone, So
You know?
But we watched it.
with those hot PS1 graphics.
So we could get into more of that and all that. So we're going to get into all the announcements and everything. And first of all, we want to welcome back Vmac as guest host today. So again, Vmac, awesome artist, awesome nerd, just geek extraordinaire. I'm your host, Sebastian.
It's your boy Law.
And your boy Tone from across the hall.
And tonight on Nerds, first of all, let's cover the news. So we talk about it. We put it up. Shang-Chi got some positive reviews. We're excited to see it. That comes out September 3rd. We are going to go try to see it. I may just go to a drive-thru, or I may just try to go back in the day, find some bootlegs. I don't know. I mean, got to find the bootleg guy.
I got my tickets purchased.
They ain't no bootlegs in Mays Landing, New Jersey, buddy. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's no guy on the block.
I don't got a guy.
I'm taking
got a
it.
guy anymore.
Please. Listen, you may find it where all the crates are at. That's where you'll find the bootlegs.
Next on the list is, as we were joking about, the Spider-Man trailer is out. So we got a nice little teaser. So there's a lot of nice fun stuff in there. As Alfred Molina is back as Doc Ock. Woo.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into the announcements because
My man
we
looks
have
better
some
with
big-
age. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
You age like fine wine when you get older. But here we go. Some announcements. So subscribe to our YouTube channel, Twitch. Please subscribe, follow. Guys, again, we thank everyone who's subscribing and following the channel, giving us the love and everything like that. All your support and everything is definitely much appreciated. Check us out on TikTok. Listen to us on Spotify. We have a great creative series coming out this Friday featuring VT. Trey from he's worked with Sketch Brew, so he's an awesome animator. So that's coming out this Friday. If you haven't listened already, again, subscribe to the channel. We have a bunch of great creative series interviews, such as when we interview Chandra Free and everybody. So again, please thank you for subscribing.
Yo,
I am messing up. I know I had to resist
fuck you,
that.
Tone. Fuck you, Tone.
Yep. Anyway, Inbeon Con's virtual show was Inbeon Con is this weekend, August 28th and 29th. Free VIP packages, free admissions, VIP packages. You can get a discount using code Get Nerdy with it. Get 10% off on the code by using the code Get Nerdy with it. Yes, I know I'm speaking really quick, but that's the code right there. Get Nerdy with it. Make sure to use that.
Breathe, Seabass.
I know.
Allowed during announcements.
Breathing is not a reason.
Remember, it's Get Nerdy with it.
There
Not
you go.
With it.
There you go.
With it. There you go.
Say,
That's nice.
say it with me. Get
Emphasis.
nerdy with it.
Emphasis.
With it.
Go in a little nah.
Bro, this is what happens. It's Taco Tuesday. I'm hocked up on tacos and Red Bull. This is what happens. September 4th and September 5th, Geeks Out Staten Island's doing their show. We'll be there on September 5th for the virtual show, hosting a panel where, again, we're talking about getting into podcasting. So, again, we want to give them a shout, give them a lot of love. They'll be on the show next week. So, again, another pre-show for their show. Also, too, October 23rd, 24th, Poughkeepsie Gallery and Mall. Incredicon is happening. Check them out. Check out Mike Lopez's show in Credit Chat. Also, again, lots of love to you, Mike. Thank you all and all that for the support. So now, without further ado, I want to bring out our guests because we have some awesome guests. We have some great segments for you guys tonight. I mean, the first segment that we're going to go over is pretty much this member is one member of the team of known as Catch Da Craze. We've had him on the show a bunch of times and all that. And I'm going to plug into that. We did a great creator interview. And there's a funny story because the two guests that we had tonight, they were the first remote guests that we had. And then because of, I'm not going to name the program Skype, that messed up the audio for that interviews. So it's funny to have them both on this show on the eve of Inbeon Con. But we're doing his creator series. It's coming out next week on the 3rd, which we finally got to sit down, talk to him. We built a great relationship, budding relationship and everything. And we're always having fun, poking at each other back and forth. We go on their show. they come on our show. But it's also great to bring him on because he just did this awesome launch on webtoons for his book Russ 5377. So I want to give it up for the one, the only George the Dreamer Medina.
What's up, everybody?
From the land of
king in the house.
Wow.
Welcome from the land of the comment section.
Jesus.
You're back on the show and not in the comments. I love it. I love to see it.
Yes. Listen, I live for that moment where you guys talk about the spoilers, so I'm happy to be here and actually be a part of it today.
Good.
I love it. So yes, thank you. Thank you for having me on. Hello, everybody.
Always.
Hi.
Oh, man, we miss you, bro. We miss you.
Dude, it was. I mean, listen, that creative series you were talking about. I'm just gonna say something. If Sam is watching this, that last question, it's not personal, bro. It's not personal. You know I love you. You know I love you, but watch it. You'll know what I mean. It was.
If you know, you know.
Is he in the Lone Star yet, or he hasn't moved?
So they've been traveling. This guy's crazy. They decided to travel, do a 24-hour trip out to Texas from New York. I think they might have left yesterday. I don't know what time they left yesterday, but I called him up this morning just to see how they were doing. I'm like, yo, you alive? What's good? Everybody good over there? He's like, yo, dude, the car smells like crap because he has dogs in the car, little guys, and they got motion sickness. And they threw up all over the car.
Whoa.
Yo, I'm like, what? It's him and my friend Jonathan. They're just a mess. It's a mess. But yeah, hopefully they'll make it there.
Hey, Arelis.
Where in Texas? I think it's Lauderdale, something like that. I don't know. It's near Dallas. But yeah, so he's on his way. I think they should be should be there in about an hour. So yeah, the big move to Texas. So that's going to be interesting.
So we have a fun episode today. So we're going to talk to George the first half of this episode, but I don't want our next guest just hanging out there waiting in the guest in the green room. I want him to join us out here with there because we have an action-packed show for you guys tonight. It's going to be part creative interview, part pre-show, part what if coverage, what we do in Nerds. So that's why it's a little bit of a deluxe episode tonight. So Arelis, you're there. You're in for a treat. But there's a lot of names that this man goes by. But he is known as the founder, mentor for a lot of us. He has put this together. I got to see this man create this company from the ground up, where it was just him with his family at the table selling books. It was always fun conversations. Through him, I met Law. We all have a great budding relationship. And when they talk about Inbeon, it's not just a company; it's a family. And it becomes something where creators are looking out for each other. And that was a dream that he was always looking to create. When I had debuted it on the scene doing conventions, it was his convention that I started. I met George at that convention, which again, I always credit George with a lot with buying the first book, being supportive. But Eric was definitely one of those people when pulled to the side at the show is like, how did you do? And he was really genuinely, and then again, building a relationship, seeing him and his family and all that. But again, without further ado, I want to bring out the man who is the founder, the CEO, and overall dope creative that is out there that we all got to build relationships with. Get up for the one, the only Granddaddy, Eric Hutch.
Yeah, I was gonna give him a godfather, but you call him Granddaddy.
Yeah, no, I'm getting there. I'm on
Granddaddy.
I keep making birthdays. I keep messing up. So
we got Shankis in the house.
Yeah, I've been enjoying that D&D, yo. Like that's the only thing I think that kept us sane through this whole pandemic and just craziness. Man. Not being able to do shows was like a total kill, yo. You know what I mean?
It's so weird. It is very.
I miss all your faces in person.
It's all right, Seabass. I'll pick you up for a ride. I don't know, tomorrow or something.
Or something.
Something.
Yo, George, my brother from another mother.
What's up? Yo, E. It's funny that Sebastian did that whole like intro of you because that's exactly how it was. I remember meeting you at these conventions, doing your thing behind the table, and then it's like 6 degrees of separation. Like we're all here. Like Law took one of the first photos at that. I didn't even know you were the photographer. Like the way we all.
No, he wasn't a photographer. I shoved a Mark III that I had bought to do headshots into his hand. I was like, "Yo, you were a person like you." My whole thing was always going off of people's vibes. You know what I mean? So I came from corporate America. I was doing computer engineering. I was doing all this crazy stuff, and when I decided to I'm going to take a creative path, I'm going to try that route. the whole thing was just trying to feel that creative vibe again. You know what I mean? Trying to get at the soul of what I think a lot of people are just missing in life. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what you do creatively. It's just that people need that outlet. So yeah, when I saw how much Law was a lover of people, I just figured he would have the ability to capture it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he really did. I mean, we met on Valentine's Day. Like that's
that's
how real this is.
That's
how real
love. Story.
That's love. Serious.
I still
we celebrated after, of course.
I met
my wife.
George through Hutch like 15 times before meeting him on Nerds and being like, "Oh shit, that's been you the whole time."
Now we permanent fam. That's
it. Well, that's it. We just send pictures of barbecue to George all the time.
I need George to come to Jersey.
I'm feeling bad.
I hate
me. It's them two.
It all started with a picture from like Burger King that I sent them, and then these guys just went in.
Okay, listen, the grease was on the bag, bro.
That grease, that was a good burger. That was a good burger. I want to hear it.
The more the grease, the better.
That's what I'm saying. See?
So before we get there, so George, because again, we're gonna have fun tonight. This is gonna be a good one. So George, you came out with Russ 5377. This has been it was the first book that I saw you come out with when I first met you. But now you did something really dope, which again fans can find in the description, the link to it. You launched the book now on Webtoons. What prompted you to launch this book on Webtoons, and how was the process from transferring it from a physical media to put it on Webtoons platform?
Okay, so what prompted me? A 12-year-old girl. So, and I say that because I was at ZoloCon a few months ago. Okay. And I was there with Sam and the guys or whatever. And we were at the table. A little girl comes up to Sam and she picks up one of his books and she's like, "Oh, this is cool. Are you guys on Webtoons?" And we felt old as fuck at that moment because we were like, Webtoons? She was like, "Yeah, this would be really cool on Webtoons. You guys should put it on Webtoons." I was like, wow, okay. So I came home. I transferred all the files. I changed them up. When you go on Webtoons, you have the option to, I guess, put them up as as just, I guess, panels.
Yeah.
I decided to just put the pages all in one, all so you're getting the full page. So you're reading it almost like a digital comic where you just scroll up and just read the book. So the process of putting it together wasn't bad. All I did was just resize the images, and then so you have a full issue online when you go to read the book. So you're reading it almost like a digital comic, like you would on your phone. So it's easy to read. I made it easier to read, so you're not. And I'm putting them out. The first episode or the first chapter debuted on August 5th. I'm going to be putting them quarterly because I have six chapters. So the next one will be up in November, and I just wanted to build a fan base before I keep putting up more issues on there.
Yeah, I got to check the date because I liked Russ 5377 was pretty good.
Thank you, appreciate that.
I got to Seabass actually introduced me to it over the weekend, so I wanted to actually know. So I spent $3 and read a couple of those books. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm interested to see where the story goes.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I actually, the story's been around for a long time, like Sebastian said. And I think, and Hutch, you're big on this. It's all about the progression of time, right? It's all about the evolution of a product. And it went from, I drew it myself the first few issues to, okay, you know what, that didn't work out. I got some artists to draw the book that you see now, and then I printed out as single issues. Then it became a graphic novel. Now it's digital. So we'll see where it goes from here. Hopefully, I'm trying to get on Netflix. I'm trying to get on Amazon Prime. I'm trying to get that's the dream. I want to be talking about my episode on Nerds of the Round. 1 week,
right.
And you guys breaking down the episode like that's the dream, you know what I mean? But yeah,
that's cool.
Was the fact that you have it on Webtoons and they have that they have that deal now with DC, and then they have that deal now. They have that deal with Crunchyroll. So
yep.
I'm hoping we get an animation.
Exposure.
We get a Crunchyroll animation. Let's go.
That's right. I mean, you got to throw it in there and see what happens. You know what I mean? I'm not at this point. Will it make me money if I put it on there for free? Probably not. But the exposure is what's gonna take it to the next level. Sometimes you got to get stuff. Give some stuff up for free for the bigger picture. So
yeah.
But go ahead, so guys. Go ahead. Who's next with that question? Because I'm going to bring up while George is talking, I'm going to bring up just the cover of Russ. So here we go, because I want to show it off.
I'd
to
like
people
to know
so
the inspiration of the character.
So when I was I created this thing back in 1999. So I'm an old man. Yeah.
Don't say that. That's not that far. That's not that long ago.
Dates.
We already know how old we are. Like that's not even.
Yeah.
God,
so
man.
Can't see the grays, but they're there.
I want to say I was like in high school, but I wasn't. I was actually working at a group home. It was a home for kids. And I've told the story before. And basically what happened was I was working there, not as a social worker or anything. I was doing data entry work. And I was typing in the information for a kid, and his name was Nonami. I thought that was the coolest name ever, right? Nonami, that's kind of cool. The name was really no name. The kid had no name. They had found this kid, and they had no idea what his name was. So that's the way I was entering him into the computer. And I was like, well, that's messed up. What if I wrote a story about a kid who wanted to escape this world, who wanted to get the heck out? But he was a little different. So I made him all, like you see his features are very alien-like, but it's all stems from when he was born with a deformity. But I wanted to show that it didn't matter what you look like. He was still powerful, and he was going to get out of this whole mess that he was in. So that was kind of like where the story started. And it evolved to this, it's a 6-chapter book about this kid trying to escape this world, this orphanage, which ends up being a group home where it's like a lab. He's trying to get out, and the 6-issue run is whether or not he gets out with his friends or not, and what happens next. So at the end of the first issue, you see what happens to one of his friends, and now it's about, can we save him? So yeah, it's an action adventure sci-fi urban tale. So when I sent this out to the guys, my artists are in the Philippines. When I sent it out to them, I said, do me a favor, do a style that it's like a combination between Dragon Ball Z and the Boondocks. Put that together and then give it to me. And I think they did their thing with it. So yeah.
And I want to follow up with that question. Is like, what was because you have this guy, Professor Morb.
Yeah.
What was the inspiration for him? Because let me pull him up real quick because I'm right here. He looks badass, dude. Like
you mean Dr. Doom with an afro?
Yeah, Dr. Doom with an afro. I didn't want to say it, but it's literally what we got right here. But it's dude, I'm just right there.
I mean, he keeps that afro clean.
Clean, right?
So
clean. The what you call it? The wind from the helicopter did nothing to that afro.
He's got his pick in his coat.
Yeah, that's picked out strong. That's what that is. That's
like right before he shows up, like while he's in the helicopter, before everyone sees him, he's just like picking it out, make sure, whole part of that swag and that authority is to look official.
That's it. I don't care what's happening. The fro's got to look nice. But yeah, the inspiration, obviously, growing up, I was a big Spider-Man fan. Dr. Doom, and all that. So Dr. Doom is definitely an influence. But his backstory is he was a colleague of Russ's mom back in the day, and so his face is essentially disfigured. And as you read the story, you found out how it happened. But that's why he wears the mask. But he's got the dope ass afro. So
accentuate the features.
You got to wear what you got. That's how it is.
That's it.
Because you wrote this in 1999, how much has this story influenced all the other stories you've written so far, like now?
So I it's funny because they always say write what you know, right? And so a lot of the characters in the book at the time were friends of mine from school, and so like the kid with the other afro, Backy, I called him Backy. He's actually based on one of my closest friends growing up as a kid. His name is Walter, and this kid is loyal to a fault. Like Walter is as loyal as they come. So I made Backy almost like an homage to my friend. Every character has an ID number, right? The 5377 is Russ's ID number in the homes, how they keep track of the kids. 5377, and this is going to sound very, it's all about me, but it's my birthday. It's my date of birth. So 5377. So Backy's is 6427. It was my friend's date of birth. and then so forth and so on. So even Kino's another friend of mine from school. His date of birth is the last 4 digits of his. So the inspiration and almost like what I did with those characters, and it's almost like what shapes my writing even today. I use real life events or people or things in my life, and that's what motivates me or helps me shape some of these stories, right? What and every story is different because all of our stories are different. Despite how similar we may be, the difference is that we all go through the same things, but differently. And that's the difference in the story. Because it's very hard to have, oh, that's so original. Well, no, we all kind of like, we all have similar plights and similar situations we go through. Is how we react or what we do in those situations that changes the story. It's almost like the multiverse, right? That decision creates that ultimate, that multiverse.
You're just making variants, boy.
So every story is a variant. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, so that's what it is. Yeah.
So the Seabass 3582 make an appearance or something.
Oh, look at you.
Yo.
Damn.
That's what's on me. Write this down.
Touch 11. Don't out there. Come on, we can keep
I just don't want to get sued like Todd did. I don't want to get sued.
But I don't want to get too much into Wonder Duck because Wonder Duck is your other property that you did, and we covered that in the creator series. Which again, guys, make sure you're subscribing to the channel because on the 3rd of September, the creator series interview with Jorge Medina finally drops after how many times that we had to record and this guy. But I do want to showcase again the art, but with now Russ being on webtoons and now getting to know the format, opening it up to a new crowd. Are we going to see an expansion of the universe of Russ, or are we going to see more of your works transition over to webtoons as well?
So Wonder Duck is being published by Darkfire Press right now, and if you guys know J.M. DeSantis, great dude. Yeah. He is, he's the owner of the company Darkfire Press. He's actually my publisher on the book. So right now, because he is publishing it, I think it's probably going to be a conflict of interest to put it on another platform right now. Mm-hmm. So Wonder Duck probably won't make it on webtoons as of right now. I mean, that could change, but as of right now, no. You can obviously get the book either on my website, getyourmeds.com, or on darkfirepress.com. We currently have it on, it's on amazon.com, barnesandnobles.com. So JM has been doing this thing. It's on Comixology. So if you want the digital version, it is on Comixology. You can get it there. And it's an 88-page graphic novel. So it's all 4 chapters of the book in one sitting. So so for as of right now, no. But I don't know. We don't know. Next year, I have plans to bring back the second part of this book. So that's going to be happening, and I'll make announcements as it goes along. But yeah, I'm planning a crowdfunding campaign next year for the 5th chapter of the book. So look out for that.
So guys, that's Russ 5377. Yes. Make sure you're checking it out on Webtoons. Follow, subscribe to it on Webtoons. Let's give George the push so that Webtoons recognizes who George the Dreamer Medina is, so that this way we can get this turned into an animation that's picked up by Crunchyroll, which is now owned by Funimation or Netflix. So again, we want to get this made into a series. But now the next segment we're going to get to. So I'm going to take a small break to show you guys something. You ready?
Okay.
So now it's our next segment because again we got to talk. We jumped on there, guys. We got to talk to George about Russ 5377. Now
I'm just so happy.
Yo,
we're all gonna and
the Matrix, man.
Bro, I'm just glad I didn't come after that because that was no. What?
I gotta follow you, man. This is gonna be hard. Come on.
But I mean, again, it's just funny. It's just wonderful to have you both on here because again, I us here at Nerds, the group, we thank you guys because one is this: you guys are actually the first two people that we interviewed when we started going remote, and then it sucked because those audios were really good, but Skype didn't want anyone to hear them. But to have you both on the show talking about projects that you just recently launched with George, the webtoons. So guys, if you missed that, make sure you check out George's webtoons on Russ 5377. But now we have Eric Hutch, the CEO, the founder of Inbeon, the creator of Crimson Huntress, the voice behind Shanky Shanks from the Medusa's Cascade. Again, we're going to give the mic to Eric to talk about what's coming up this weekend, the 20th to 29th, because this is now the Inbeon Con Preshow, which you'll see all of us there. So Eric, the mic is all yours. Tell us how Inbeon Con, the history of it, do your thing. Boom,
no
boom,
pressure.
Boom, boom, no pressure.
Y'all just gonna put me on the spot like that, man.
Oh, you wait. You want the spot?
Turn
There
the
you go.
spotlight on.
All right. I'm so messy. I don't even know what to say right now. I mean, for the most part, you guys know me long enough to know what I'm about, who I am as a person, who I am as, trying to create this whole Inbeon experience. You know what I mean? I think George is a great person because he represents everything that we've ever tried to do. When I used to have conversations with him and JM and a lot of the people that were in the indie creator scene, we all were running into the same issues. They basically was 2 or 3 paths you could choose, right? One, you try and make it as a specific artist or writer, bang out some fan art, make your table back, you know what I mean, every show. And it's a success, you know what I mean? There's lots of people out there to do it, and they pay their bills. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're about. That's what they do at the end of the day. When you choose to go the indie creator route, where you're going to make your own project, where you're not just going to do another version of this character or that character that's already out there, you don't have a lot of choices. You're basically going to do it yourself until you die. Sort of that 50 Cent mentality, you know what I mean? Where it's like, if you get shot up, like put it in a rap, you know what I mean? Like, for the most part, it's just like you're going to do something and go for it with all your gumption, all of your know-how, everything you got, and leave it on the table, or you're going to get harvested. And the harvesting component is somebody kind of weaseling you out of your creation. And that happens. It happens more often than not. So my whole thing was, we were going to create a show that was going to be for artists, for creators, not only to, promote and market them and get them out there and that kind of stuff, but also to be sort of for lack of a better term, a support group. You know what I mean? I think, I was talking to Sebastian Jones yesterday, and we were talking about how independent creators are basically sadists. Like, we have this thing where it's like we're willing to just go to the ends of earth for our craft, and you don't necessarily always see the reward, especially in the short term. Sometimes it takes you a long time. Sometimes you never get out of it, but it becomes an outlet. So my main thing is that because each of us is learning different techniques, somebody might learn a little trick on Instagram before they change the algorithm on them. Somebody might learn, okay, well, here's how I promote on TikTok. You want to feel old, go to TikTok. You know what I'm saying? Like, it always is a new world out there. There's always a new place, a new platform, a new way to do it. All kind of techniques with art and writing, you know what I mean? All kind of tools that are out there as far as doing it. And if we can share those things with one another, not only do we improve our craft as a whole, but we also have that opportunity to, find things that inspire us from other people that are struggling just like we are. You know what I mean? The idea is ultimately that if we get enough of those pieces together, the individual parts, somebody's going to make it out. Somebody's going to figure out the combination and have enough escape velocity, like George was saying, to get on to Netflix or to get on to Amazon. I know people right now that are doing HBO deals and trying to make that work. And it's challenging because there's a whole nother side that you have to learn when you do succeed, that can easily happen and fall back on you like a double-edged sword. But we don't want to do things in fear. And my only way to help people kind of mitigate that fear of doing this and being out on their own is education. You know what I mean? We got to educate one another. We got to keep each other in the loop. There's a lot of assholes out there. Take it for what it's worth. George has seen them. George has seen a lot of them.
I have. I've been in this long enough to see the good guys turn to assholes. The assholes turn back to good guys. Like it's crazy.
It's crazy. It's a multiverse out there. So I think the major thing, I remember, damn, when was this? It was like New York Comic Con. I want to say like 2002. Maybe it was later. Maybe it was like 2011. But anyway, I remember pulling George on the side, and I said, "I want you to look at who's here." I said, "Pay attention to him."
I remember this.
And I was like, 5 years from now, half of these people's gonna be gone. 5 years after that, you'll be lucky if anybody's here. And I said, you got to decide which end of the table are you on? You know what I mean? Are you going to be the person that's going to be here no matter what it takes? Or are you just going to give up on it, put shit on the side, figure you're going to do something else? Because the tenacity that's required to be on your own is incredible.
Yeah,
I learned it the hard way. I had so many people scam me, take my artwork, steal it, not give me credit on stuff. I've been in rock magazines, worldwide distribution with no mention of me. The rock band is like, yo, they're like, oh, this artwork is crazy. This animated music video was crazy. They were like, nobody thought to ask who did it.
Wow.
You know, so this kind of stuff happens, not being paid for work, not, you know what I mean? And all these kind of things. My main concern was always, how do I stop that? How do we nip that in the bud? Having artists value themselves, having writers value themselves, having artists and writers learn how to talk to one another without cutting the heads off, you know what I mean? Because that becomes a really crazy thing. So that communication piece between one another. So all in all, you know, Inbeon is not just a place to, you know, find people that are going through the same kind of struggles and helping each other out, educating each other on things, but it's a place where we can just chill and have fun, like without the stress. You know what I mean? Like there's so much stress out there. I mean, anybody who's done shows on a big scale, we did shows where literally we had double booths, you know, those like big mega booths. And we started off like Artist Alley, one little table, you know what I mean? Then our booth got a little bigger. We had 2 Artist Alley tables. Then it was like a little bigger, you know what I mean? And it kept building. But by the time we were doing, you know, mega booths and all of that kind of stuff, like you could tell the difference in the stress level. You know what I mean? You know, now it's more expensive. Now we got to make the table back. How are we gonna make the table back? You know what I mean? Like the concepts about money and business and those things start to override the creative side. And there's always that balance that you're playing with each thing. So just to have a show where everybody just is relaxed and can share information and be like, yo, I like what you're doing. You know what I mean? That inspires me. Now that I heard your story, now I know either things to look out for or I know how I can do what I'm doing better. And that's it. That's
the one below me. You gotta feature her art. She's a dope
artist.
Vmac,
I'm really pleased to meet you because Sebastian's been talking about you.
Thank you.
And all the stuff you're doing. So I can't wait to see more.
Sebas has more faith in me than I do in myself. I mean,
that's the artist you like. You see what I'm talking about?
But you need people like Sebastian, though. You need people like me.
I know. I mean, I've known him for so long, and he's always been the battery in my back. And I get so whatever. I lack a lot of the inspiration, motivation, and then I don't have the creativity he has. Like he has a different level of creativity that I lack. Where I'm more of where I need to be visually inspired. I need to see something. I'm not able to create it on my own, that's where I struggle. And it's like, and he's like, but you don't need to struggle. You can just try it, just do it. And he's always been that battery. And I'm stubborn and I allow myself to get distracted with life. And it's just, and it's one of the things that he's always been a bird in my ear.
The most visually stunning thing I want to see people draw is Tony's D&D character Galahad with his new name. That's what I want to see.
These characters.
I want to try that. You got to send me that guy.
Yeah, I got to see these characters, man.
All right, I'll send it over. I'll send it over in the green room.
But V, that's literally the type of, that's literally the type of stuff that we go through. You know what I mean? Where everything is almost daunting for like what we want to be able to accomplish. But I can tell you need the cheerleaders, you need the people that care. You know what I mean? And
it's the biggest thing. I think the confidence in myself is not really always there. So same. You'd be surprised. Like, I mean, I died on Crimson Huntress when, I had my first like reviews. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had people that absolutely loved the series, and then I had somebody tell me the most horrible things that you could imagine.
Dude, that's the reason why I stopped drawing Russ. I stopped drawing Russ because somebody said my art was garish and gaudy. Yeah. And I was like, wow. So I pivoted though. I was like, all right, cool. I'm not gonna draw it, but I'm still gonna write this shit, and it's coming out. You know what I mean? That was it. Like, okay, fine. I'm gonna pivot. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that to the chin. You're good. All right, you got that. But I'm gonna finish this book, and I think that's part of like that mentality you gotta have. Like, yo, you just keep going. Yeah. Do something else. They don't like that piece, do another piece and make it better. You know what I mean? Like, it's easier said than done, I guess. Sometimes.
I think as you get older, you start to actually realize you're not doing it for them. Right. And I think that's the switch you haven't necessarily had yet. A lot of artists don't get that until much later, but you're going to get that switch and you realize that you're doing this for you. You only got so much time on the earth and you don't know when that's going to be up. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, get it done. Yeah. I was listening to something. I don't know. I don't know if it was a video. I don't know where I saw this video or something like that, but they were talking about like, just imagine on your deathbed, right? That you're surrounded by all of these figures, and each one of these figures represents the dreams that you had, the books you didn't put out, the pieces of artwork that you didn't do, that you wanted to do, but you didn't. And they all surround in your bed at the end of it. And they can't move on because now you're gone. And they like, we came to you. We told you like we wanted to exist. You could have brought us to life. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
So I don't want none of them things out there. When I'm going, that's it. I don't want none of them around. They all gonna be living. They all gonna be living their own life. You're just out there. You know what I mean? Just pieces, just existing. You know what I'm saying? But that's all.
So I want to give a shout out because the Nerds team, Tony Law, we're all going to be hosting some great panels this weekend. Over 30 panels that's been put together. Tony's going to be hosting the podcast panel and the marketing panel, which again we're all excited for that. Law's going to be hosting with the Twitch channel. He also hosted the music panel too. So there's a lot of great stuff.
Maybe the D&D one. I think I don't remember. There's a lot.
There's a lot
this year for real.
But I want you to go in on this, Hutch, because you have more details on this. Is it coming up? There we go. The VIP crate, for those who are interested.
Well, we did something different. So last year was the first virtual con we did for 2020. Obviously, everything was on lockdown. We were doing all of our events out in New York. With the pandemic and everything, we had to kind of make a decision if we were just going to keep the vibe going. Inbeon Con 2020, we noticed across the board we had about a 10,000 organic reach on social media and traffic to the site and that kind of stuff, which was 4 times the amount of what we were getting in a physical show. So, we were like, okay, well, maybe we can just kind of keep this going and keep everything alive until everything, sort of returns to normal and opens back up. And what we did with this year is that we did everything basically for free. There's no cost for anything. So you can exhibit for free and we will shout you out. We'll put you on the site. You can get tickets to the event totally free. You just register on the site and we send you all the links to things and that kind of stuff. But we did want to give some kind of option where we can kind of keep this going and have some kind of fundamental revenue behind it. And we decided to do these VIP packages. So I reached out to some of my friends and some of the people that I've, been inspired by pretty much through my whole career with this. And we were able to get artists like Edwin Hung to create digital art for us, prints that we can give to our VIP guests. We put the VIP digital package at $9.99. You can actually get a physical Inbeon crate. That's going to have over $100 worth of prints. It'll probably be more than that, but you know what I mean? We just wanted to throw out a basic number for $29. And those people that want to be able to not only connect with the show and get the knowledge, but also want to support. The revenue share happens between all of the creators, the people that have affiliate codes and that kind of stuff, like get nerdy with it, and that kind of stuff is mainly ways to support all the creators that are supporting us. So we are a con not only for creators, by creators, but one that also shares its revenue with all of the creators that support us. So by supporting Inbeon Con, you're supporting all of them. And, you know, we just keep it rolling.
It's been like, what, 8 years for the show?
Yeah. Oh, something else that's pretty cool. It's not in that graphic, but we, as I said, I was talking to Sebastian Jones the other day, and he's doing a Kickstarter that coincides with Inbeon Con's first day. So on Saturday, he's actually going to be launching a Kickstarter for Niobe. And it's, if you haven't seen the series, everybody who gets a VIP package is also going to get Niobe She Is Death and Niobe She Is Life #1 issues digitally. Nice. We're working on getting the physical ones for the people that upgrade to the VIP Max, which is the physical Inbeon crate. But the parallels with the Kickstarter is going to be hyped. So we're going to be hyping him out through the show and hyping out Stranger Comics, which is really one of the most, out of the group of people that we know, some of the most advanced independent creations that we've seen. You see JM up there, Sam. I mean, this is the crew. This is everybody who's, like I said, has the tenacity to ride through all of the storms and, come out the other side.
And then, like I said, panels, we're going to be working this year, guys. And I think and again, this was beautiful image right here, because again, it captures community and everything.
And to say that the people that are actually in there is, I think, about a third of the, I mean, I had to pick and choose which ones went in, so it was kind of hard, but I mean, we got so many people supporting the panels themselves. I think are triple what they were last year. All of the 2,000 panels are available as well right on the site, so you can navigate between them right from the top. So if you go to panels, you'll see the 2,000 ones, and you can watch all of the past ones.
2020?
Yeah, all of 2020.
You said 2000 twice, and I was like, well, we go that far back?
The Inbeon, the company was made in 2011, and the first Inbeon Con was 2014, and it was an artist focused show that had, I think we had 17 artists, and it was in a art gallery, which I absolutely love that show. That show was my heart for real. And
the only show that I've ever missed.
Yeah, and that's the only, you've been to every other show. But yeah, for the most part, it's been an amazing journey. You know what I mean? And I get to look back and just see, this story arc, of like where we started to where we are now. Yo, we have an actual cash prize.
Nice.
For the cosplay contest winners. They're going to be getting a $100 gift card from either Amazon or Apple, their choice. And we made the registration process simple. To separate cosplay, because there's a lot of ways people go with cosplay, to kind of let you know what we're focused on, really focus on the craftsmanship of it. Being in the entertainment industry and having met like prop masters and costume designers and this kind of stuff, I realized that a lot of what people do in cosplay can lead to real jobs. So, if we kind of focus on that craftsmanship and that creativity, for them being able to kind of get into that next level or get into those opportunities, it's a matter of time.
Mandalorian looks so cute.
I know, right?
The kids ones is adorable.
Yeah,
that was Faith from last year. Phenomenal job. They even what was it? Faith's mom sent like the whole thing of how they built it too, which was really dope.
Wow. Yeah, that's dope.
I think this is new this year, the D&D section.
Yeah, the D&D section, we're building it right now. We're going to be reaching out to a couple of sponsors, hopefully before the show starts. And we really wanted to feature like the DMs, right? So the DMs is who makes all of these stories for us, as a player and a family DM. Now I just started my own family campaign with my kids and my wife. It's, for the most part, it's a really fun process. It's a really creative process, and I think D&D is a great tool to learn how to do character-based writing, learn how to do world building, and a lot of other stuff. So I just think it's amazing. It's very different from, I'm a video gamer as well. So I just noticed that there's a huge difference between video games and D&D, and having that acting, role-playing, character development, world building component is absolutely incredible. And it's something that really you can only experience through something like that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And that is this Saturday. Everyone can see that. It's Inbeon Con 2021, August 28th, 29th. You'll see Jorge Medina with everyone.
Saturday is all day.
All day.
All day.
Yo, that's something else that comes with the VIP, y'all. There's an after con. And so Inbeon Con after dark.
Whoa.
Mature stuff. I'm gonna be mature.
Mature
Yeah, but that-
I don't know if we're that mature, but
I don't think we're that mature. I mean, yo, if y'all listen to the D&D, y'all know we not mature. We're not even borderline with it. It went all off the deep end. But
I think we made a medieval bidet.
oh, don't get
Stop.
We won't say how.
Wow.
You're
Yeah,
giving
listen
away
to the
way
podcast.
too much.
That's
You're
just
already
like-
giving way
just
too
set up
much.
the podcast.
This is a podcast.
Medieval bidet, and
All right.
you'll know.
You know, it's every Saturday the Medusa's Cascade podcast, and again, like how you said it's been great. It's been because again, they have fun with Law, Tony, Hutch. I know everyone's trying to see my face because everyone's seeing it all over the internet, but no, we're having fun with all that. No, we're having fun with it, and no, I think it was a really great thing. It was really great therapeutic through the pandemic. It was really bonding. And also to it was a great it's a great creative tool. So it's like when you have that when you're in that creative desert, it kind of forces you to tap into stuff. And I gotta say this is that when Tone came out with Galahad's backstory, I think that was the most creative backstory that was dropped on us. I was like, dude.
I was gonna say that.
I don't
when,
think it's super creative.
it
was just a written, it was just writing.
when I first met Tone, they were trying to make a writer out of you. Did they sucid or what?
We're gonna make a writer of him. It's gonna happen.
I'm in
He's
full
got
blown.
some
I'm in
great-
full blown corporal life right now.
Got some great chef's kiss like speeches and like one-liners and just like shit that he says to the big bad, and we're all here like, yeah, let's fucking go.
There's gonna be an exclusive line. Inbeon's gonna put it out. It's an exclusive line of D&D quotes from Galahad. Like it's just his quotes. Like that's it. We're not gonna have no graphics. We're not gonna have no artwork on it. It's literally things he said Galahad, and that's it. That's all we're gonna do. Y'all will know it when y'all see
Arguably,
it.
probably one of our most quotable characters from this campaign.
That's awesome.
Next to Sirius.
Next to serious.
True.
Yep. The
Shout out to you, Doc.
the two holy characters.
Yeah, the two
Right.
clerics, holy people.
With the cleric and the paladin.
Mhm.
No, we're gonna get George and Val in a game. They're gonna be special guest characters. That's it.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Oh
But,
shoot!
we're on
I want to
to the-
witness one before I actually join one, so I have an idea of what I'm getting
Yeah,
into.
you need
we
to
we
witness
have our
one
game from last
before
year
you
that's up there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
but that throws you
okay.
right. That throws you right in the middle of it.
Oh yeah.
Tommy can always make an NPC
Got you
for it.
thrown into some drama.
Yeah, just make an NPC,
trauma.
throw it.
So much trauma.
God.
So many
It's fun.
emotional,
It's
fucking people.
Or unemotional fucking people. That's the other side. People that just don't give a shit. But I think that's what's really cool is that you learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about other people, because even though we're playing characters, you see all of our real life tendencies. You know what I mean? They've come out, they're on display. And that's been the therapeutic component too, because you actually get to see yourself in third person, you know, and
That's
it's, oh, man, it's been wild.
That sounds like fun.
No,
Yeah, I've had so many breakthroughs.
It's fun. It's fun. And when shenanigans ensue, oh man.
It's
But,
fun. It's fun until your therapy becomes an addiction. You know. Like,
Yeah, well, then you need therapy for your therapy, and then you can play a separate D&D game to
feel
talk
like
about how
that's
you're
what I'm
addicted
doing
to D&D,
currently.
and that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's a
But
dirty
now-
cycle.
But this has been a fun deluxe episode because now we're on our next segment. Because again, so for those who are joining us, Early on, we talked to George about his launch for Russ 5377 on Webtoons. If you guys don't know what Webtoons is, you can click the link in the description. It'll take you directly to George's Webtoon, so you can subscribe to it, give him the follow so we can get him the likes. We were just talking with Eric Hutch about Inbeon Con, so he'll give us a little history. So we have a little small pre-show for you guys. Inbeon Con starts at 10 p.m. with the first panel by Comic Book School. AM. Sorry, AM. Thank you, Lo.
That's Taco Tuesday.
Bro, it's the Taco Tuesday.
Yo,
I know what it is.
I was like, we late starting now?
We late started. Well, we were. Yeah, I was thinking. I'm already at the after con. Look at that.
Gotta start talking in 24-hour, man. Be like, it starts at 2200.
I will be starting early at 9:30 a.m. with a little bit of a pre-show again to walk people through to navigate for the show so people can check it out. So I'll be there to help you guys walk through in the morning. Again, we want everyone to have fun at the show this year, connect, network, look at all the great creators that are going to be there. You're seeing some on the panel right now today, but now we're going to jump into the second episode of What If? What If?
Let me go get my tissue box. Hold on. All right.
By show of hands, how many of us got a little choked up watching this?
The whole bad.
I was first of all,
We cold, Tone. We cold.
I felt things. Like
You felt things.
This
I
was
felt
crazy.
things. I felt things, but there's no physical, representation of feeling for me. I was just like, God damn, we're not gonna get.
He was just pissed Thanos didn't try to destroy the world. That's basically what it was.
I
That's
mean,
all he felt.
you know what? I'm not here for it, but I'm glad. And we'll talk about it. But I'm glad my man Thanos still stuck to like, yo, this shit's official.
I was
I'm a
gonna
good
say
guy,
that.
and I don't think I didn't like my plan.
He still
was official.
believed. He still
believes
believed in it. He just
You know.
saw different ways
saw
to go about it.
The
And
way he
I
rationalized it is freaking crazy.
I love
know.
he's a thinker. He's like, you know what? Some guy was talking really good, and he made sense. Although I think my plan is still fucking rational. Let's get rid of 50% of these motherfuckers out here
It's efficient. It's efficient.
at random.
So it's not genocide.
Somebody said
Not genocide.
somebody said it's genocide. He goes,
It's not
no, it's
genocide
random.
when the
It's
rich
random.
and the
It's
poor.
random.
We're all about eat the rich. Well, motherfucker, have both going down. Yeah.
I can't.
Anyway, I'm a
So
fan of
here's the
Stan,
thing.
as you all know. I am a fan of Stan, but anyway, I mean, except for his simping for death, I don't vibe for that.
Right.
I'm not here for. I'm not putting death on a pedestal. Anyway,
Yeah.
so we are talking about episode 2. What if T'Challa was Star-Lord? As you know, and when we talk about shows, we go all in. We don't have time for 2 shows in regards to no spoilers and spoilers. We are going all in. My thing that I like to say was already said that Thanos' plan, while it didn't happen, was efficient. So let's get to it, guys.
Yes.
You know what?
Did you see
In
the
his
pure
own
joy
mind.
on George's face for that?
Oh, okay. I'm like a kid in a candy store. I'm like,
Do it again.
I'm ready.
What was that about? Go ahead, Val. You was say
I
something?
forgot what I.
Oh, yeah, it just got savage for me. That's it. We're just gonna call it Savage Toad.
It was like I said my part and I'm gone. Like,
But I mean, so when we were putting the notes together for this episode,
You coming in hot, Seabass? You coming in hot?
I'm coming in hot with the first question.
Coming in
There we
hot.
go. We're gonna go hot, like a hot potato.
He already knows.
Well,
He's like, it's
we were
about
putting it
it's a
together.
subjective
And
question.
who was the better Star-Lord? Who do you guys think was the better Star-Lord? Let's go.
Wow.
T'Challa, obviously. Oh, he left.
he just left. He's like, no.
Okay. Listen, this highlighted how good of a character, person, human being T'Challa is, from young to old. This character, the way he reached different people and how we were able to see different aspects of them in this universe was very good. From Thanos to Nebula to even what Korak, what's his name? Was the Kree guy that he ends up seeing?
The pursuer, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Korath.
Oh, Star-Lord! Oh
Thank
my
you.
God!
Love that
He
guy.
that was
Love that guy.
the highlight. It was just
That's my
such
best
a
friend.
good.
Yo, I love him so much.
Yes.
He had a good time doing that.
Oh yeah, fun.
I want to see the reel of him just behind the scenes, just doing that. I really want to see that. I gotta release that. George,
it was probably more the fact that it was like, oh shit, I'm talking with Chadwick. I'm not doing this with random white guy number 3, you know?
George, weigh in, George.
Yeah, no, that I mean, he's obviously T'Challa, the better Star-Lord, the best Star-Lord, right? He like V said. He basically just look what he did for Thanos, bro. Thanos came in, they're like, "What's up, fellas? What's going on?" Like he was just like the coolest dude. Like Korath was my favorite, bro. Korath was just my favorite. Like, do I shoot? Do I use my gun? Like he's like, no. When he apologizes to him,
so the smile on his face when he was knocked out. That right there. So
what I will say though is that while he was the best Star-Lord, he did kind of cause the end of that world.
Yes.
Because at the very end, who comes in to get his son back? Ego. And now they're going to destroy this perfect world that we have. So while he was the better Star-Lord, the consequences were worse at the end.
Because what keeps Peter against Ego
correct.
It is his family, it's his friends, it's the Guardians. And if he never finds that, it doesn't work.
Bad business,
Bus boy.
Yeah. With no mom, with no family, and he's just excited to find his dad, you know?
Right, exactly. He'll do whatever his dad tells him to do.
Right. So it opens up a different level of if they can even beat that. There's no we don't even know.
You can't beat nepotism.
Hutch, who do you do?
Yo, I got to give a political answer, and the only reason why is because I like after watching it, and I thought it was a great send off, you know, for Chadwick. I'm so happy he got to at least do that part of the project. You know, I got to be in the man's presence, so I could just tell you like his vibe, his energy was just so amazing. And I mean, the heartbreaking part was when my son told me, he was like, what made him sad is like he never get to work with him, you know? And it, you know what I mean? It tears me up because, you know, I think not only did they do a great job of just representing the character of T'Challa and showing kind of that, you know, almost more nature than nurture sort of component to his existence. At the end of the day, I think there's in a storyline. So just in storyline, there's a challenge with making somebody too perfect. You know what I mean? There's always a challenge with, you know, like somebody's just so good and they're so suave and their perception is on max, and you know what I mean? They're rolling 20s all day, you know, and it gets a little, it gets where the conflict isn't necessarily there. Now, this is a what if series, so I didn't expect anything major. You know, they move very fast. It's just like that one-shot comic, you know, that they used to have back in the day. So I enjoy that element of it and that speed of usage. But what I did like is that they represented him very well. I think why Quill, you know, resonates for so many people is because in a lot of ways he's so mediocre. You know what I mean? He connects. A lot of people don't connect to that level of perfection and you know, thing in their life. So as much as we can say arbitrarily he's, you know, a better Star-Lord, you know what I mean? Everybody's fans of his and all this kind of stuff. We also lose that kind of I want to say every man-ish characteristic in what Star-Lord actually represents to a lot of people. You know, he has all of these powers, all these abilities, and doesn't have that core flawed nature. And then you have T'Challa, which has none of those really accentuated powers, but doesn't have the core flawed nature. So I think that dichotomy was great just to play. I can see why they picked that to play against, you know, what we all know as Star-Lord. I
think to follow on that point, Hutch, I think part of it too is that when they found Peter, he had just dealt with loss. No doubt. They found him in a very vulnerable state. Exactly. So when they took him, this was now, hey, we're going to build you back up, and and you're going to be a thief, and you're going to, so you know what I mean? Like, it was a whole different vibe when he got taken, whereas T'Challa's out there playing.
He's a prince.
Just a little kid. He's like, oh, a new adventure. And they took him up there, and it's like, yo, you know what I mean? Like, it was that kind of thing. So I think that's where that dichotomy comes from.
And psychologically play off of that with just people that experience. Like, you know, I'm from the Night Water, New Orleans. You know what I mean? It's rough. You know what I mean? You guys, Bronx, Brooklyn, you know what I mean? Like, you know, rough. And so what happens is that when you come from a little bit more of a rougher environment, a little bit more of, you know, where you don't have access to a lot of things, your arc is very interesting. Because you're either going to
gravitate to the flaws.
Yeah, you're going to gravitate one way or the other, and you got to make your decisions. Hopefully nature, nurture, whatever, you know, affects you. I had great parents that protected me from my environment, you know what I mean, and helped me to make better choices than a lot of the people I grew up with that aren't.
I'm switching my answer. I'm with Hutch.
So,
I'm switching my answer. He's right. Star-Lord.
That tends to happen.
But like having my kids and being in a situation, you know, where I've been an entrepreneur, I understand. I taught myself a lot about investment, and you know, I had people in my life that kind of educated me on the things that I didn't even know anything about. You know, how to make books, how to get these things out there. All of these kind of things have all been educated to me in my older life. But my child comes in, and my two kids, I'm teaching them right out the gate everything I know. You know what I mean? My son was running his own business at 3-4 years old. You know what I mean? He was coming to the Comic Cons with me. He was selling prints and books right out. Daddy said that's $5. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, make that money. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he was selling his toys. Wasn't he selling like little toys?
He had a Lego business. He was selling.
He had a Lego business.
Lego figures. He had a Lego business. I gave him space on my table. He started making more money than me. Like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? But that's him little. You know what I mean? So to me, in some ways, you know, I've created a kingdom with my wife. So we've created a kingdom, and my son is the prince. You know what I mean? My daughter is the princess. And if I teach them everything I know, having them elevate, their arc is going to be different because they're going to be on that T'Challa-like level. People are going to expect from them greatness because they have no other choice. So when their arc is going to be interesting because where they choose to fall, I always tell my wife I'm like, we have to accept their story, whatever it happens to be. I don't know my kid's story. I know what I'm pouring into them, but I don't know their story. You see what I'm saying? So where they fall, where they flounder, where they have to pick themselves back up, where all of that stuff happens, they're going to get their scraps and scrapes and scratches, you know what I'm saying? But they're doing it from a level of protection and care that I can provide. You know what I mean? And that's what I see with T'Challa. That's why I think he's an interesting character, very different from Saul. And that's why there's really no better or worse. It's just two very different arcs. It's like two very different characters, even though they related them in the same circumstance.
Oh man, Ken has Tone now. Tone, what is your pick?
Thanos, bitch.
Efficiency.
Yeah, Thanos is the best Star-Lord. How about
that? I mean, so like off the gate, when I first watched the episode, I figured T'Challa was the better Star-Lord, but I think that's just like we're all kind of touching about this whole where he comes from. He comes from Wakanda. He's gotten this level of education and responsibility that allowed him to be so free in his thinking that we saw in that first episode of even at a young age talking about having a free Wakanda. Because as his father had said, he didn't get jaded. He hasn't been jaded by the outside world where T'Chaka has been and his predecessor, Sor. So
more optimistic.
Yeah. So when he got picked up, he, kind of heard the ways, and Yondu was very up about it because already at that point, Yondu didn't have to worry about making the decision of taking this kid to Ego. Like either it's just I fucked up, I got the wrong kid, but there's no thought of like this kid's gonna get eaten or killed by Ego. Like I'm just gonna adopt him as my son automatically. So there isn't and seeing how T'Challa is when he first got out, he's like, "Oh, you're not scared?" He's like, "No, I'm excited. This is an adventure. I want to see the world." And he's like, "All right, cool." And then we see that show you the universe, and through his influence and through
that was a good line too.
he was able to put that on the Ravagers. So that whole time, that no matter what T'Challa was going to be, and this one thing I do love about this show is that we put these characters in different situations, but the core of who they are stays the same.
Yes.
Peggy Carter is the same person, whether she's got the super soldier serum or not.
Right.
T'Challa is the same person, whether he's got Black Panther or he's Star-Lord.
Right.
And we see that. We see him as a leader. And even though he is the heart of the crew, he is like the leader of the crew. And Yondu is just like the quote unquote leader on paper to make sure, like, you know, official shit is taken care of for the Ravagers. But it's really fucking T'Challa. Like, you know, like we're in the room where it happens is T'Challa and Yondu, but like it's T'Challa. So yeah,
he's just lucky to be in the room.
Yeah.
Wow. Facts.
And I think with Peter Quill had a lot of learning to go through, and a lot of trauma in his life with losing his mother, running away from his mother when his mother reached out to him, and all this other stuff that he went through and losing. It still doesn't excuse what he did in Infinity War. Like, I understand that Law's on a different page. It does not excuse for him to lose his shit and punch the man in the face. Could have waited 30 seconds, man. But anyway,
Law should identify with this character more than anybody else. You can't identify with Star-Lord.
Wait. Are you guys angry about that?
No,
I know a lot of people who are angry and upset.
I can identify with Star-Lord, but I'm like, yo, there's a plan. The plan supersides your emotions. Calm your shit.
Says the man with no emotions.
Exactly. The plan goes first, and then whatever emotions that you feel can happen after the plan.
And this is why
it would have been
Thanos
over.
is the best Star-Lord. Like, that's why he's the best Star-Lord. Like,
and look, I'm sure in one of Doctor Strange's 3 million plus ways of seeing the end of the world, that is what happened. They followed the plan, and the world still ended. So cool. He survived and had his emotions protected by plot armor. Whatever, I'm here for it.
There was one.
Wow.
Said in every other version, there was no version where Star-Lord did not mess that up. That's the problem. That's the problem. There wasn't none when he kept his cool. There was none.
I think they did it right. I think they did it right. You know, I like what they did, and this was the perfect character to have Star-Lord to be the polar opposite of who Peter Quill was, because there's no one else that can be on that other side of the coin.
This was a good what if episode.
Yeah, because they completely changed it.
Yeah, I mean, when I read these, I was telling my friend last week, so I didn't speak to you guys, but I used to read the books back in the 90s, obviously, but a couple of my friends who didn't follow the comic books, they're just movie Marvel fans or shows, and called me right after Peggy, and he's like, I don't understand. How is this going to, and what about this? And asking, I was like, what are you doing? This is not.
What are you doing?
This is not Wanda. This is not Wanda. This is not Loki. You're overthinking. This is what if. Like,
you watch the intro, he even says, like, I'm just gonna take you through this journey of all these different stories.
You're like, no, this is really happening.
They press skip on the intro, and
he's like, so does this mean that Howard started the Iron Man things before, and then does this take out Iron? And I'm like, why?
God.
What are you thinking of? This is nothing to do with anything.
You know what's funny? That's like the opposite of the tinfoil, because every other thing we're tinfoiling. We're like, this means this. This
right. This means nothing.
The grass is tilted 90 degrees to the left.
90 degrees. Therefore, vision.
Showing up.
This is the one thing that you don't have to do that. It's just given to us. You take it for what it is.
That's
and I told him this like 3 months ago when he was like, oh, I can't wait till this comes out. I can't wait. And I'm like, don't get too excited because this is not going to be tied to anything. He's like, but they did it right after Loki. That means it's all canon. That means it's all. I'm like, no, stop right now, please.
I'm going to need you to take several seats.
It is canon.
No,
it's
canon. It's just a peek into what can happen. There's going to be thousands of different realities, and we may not even see any of these stories ever again. Do not overthink it.
I got a weird question. Do you think there's like a major difference between people that read comics before and then people that are only coming in on the movies and TV shows?
I think
There's a big difference.
Yeah, there's a big difference.
fantastic.
It's nothing against people who don't read comics, but you could tell a big difference. But
No, it just is a different. I didn't say it was bad.
no, I know, but I'm gonna jump in right now because
that implication.
we kept him silent. Yeah, we kept him silent for a long time. He has to weigh in. He's been waiting. No.
Go. Come on.
Go ahead, love. Go ahead, love.
Wow.
Listen,
it tones it. I'm just asking.
All it is,
I love you.
is literally they took two very different characters with two very different upbringings and said, this is what happens when nurture and love and all the things that are supposed to go into a person still gets thrown into a bad situation and comes up top.
Mm-hmm.
This is when a person who didn't get all that, nothing but trauma, and keeps piggybacking off of trauma becomes that version that everyone seems to hate because that's all he knows. That's all. So everyone's going, he's a better Star-Lord. Of course he is. That's the point of this whole show, was to be like, he's a better Star-Lord. But you're also thinking of it in terms of like, he's a better Batman. Star-Lord isn't a title. Like it's a thing. Like
Right.
It makes no sense to be like, he's a better whatever you want a comparison to Peter Quill because of the situations that he's put in,
Right.
because of the circumstances that led him there.
Yeah.
Right.
Case in point.
Yeah.
It was well done.
Mhm.
Absolutely well done. And I think it was like a really good like depiction of like Hutch touched upon, how Vmac touched upon, like how everyone's pretty much touched upon Shy of Tone. Has been essentially like he's come from a certain level of comfort, safety, and just had the tools that allowed him to be the Star-Lord that everyone loves and admires and inspires to be and aspires to be. Where on the flip side, we have Quill, who was literally just like
A lost kid.
a lost kid in every
And he never grew up.
This kid
Never grew up. Yeah.
on the like immediate jump got dealt the shittiest hand. Your father is Ego. Let's just put it out there. Your father is Ego. And then, as we found out in Guardians 2, what does Ego do? He's the one that gave your mom cancer. You killed her.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously there's some trauma. There's some stuff that's gonna go on, and no one gave him the tools.
Deal with loss well. He doesn't deal with loss well. In fact, and it's just been I think his first real. We see his first real touch and family in Guardians, and in Guardians 2. So for the history between him and what T'Challa was able to do with the Ravagers, it was just a different take, and it was just done well, and we love it.
Quill is trauma and survival mode, where T'Challa is like
expansion and just no fear, like
open-mindedness.
It's wonder.
It's open,
yeah.
And I think like Tom was saying, like somebody like no jadedness, you know what I mean? Like the jadedness that he had from his from how his father is completely different. So I think with all that stuff, you have how people decide to live their life once they already have their baggage. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, we got a question from my favorite Star-Lord right now, David Morgan. What if the mustache was sentient?
What?
I love you, Tone. Mustang Bros for life. We love you, Dave. But that gives me a nice little segue into how did everyone feel about the Collector in this? I already know how Tone felt about the Collector, but how did everyone else feel? And
is Tone like the polar opposite one today? Is Tone like
I'm gonna
stake somewhere.
Like, did you not like it?
It's not moving.
No, I hated it. I fucking hate.
Let Tone go first. Let Tone go first.
Did you hate it though? Did you hate it or?
I love it.
Not like it a little.
Tell me how you really feel.
Like, okay, you know what? And I think it has to do with the fact of how we saw the Collector in the movies and how Benicio del Toro tends to play these really weird, eccentric characters that are not on screen for long enough. Case in point, this and Star Wars. The fuck you doing? So And I think
The
that's
Codebreaker wasn't bad though. I mean, never mind. Go ahead.
And I think like making him out to be like this fucking kingpin gangster of nowhere, and I was just like, I didn't see it. Like why is he so brolic? Why is he so cock diesel? What is this?
Do you even lift, bro?
Like I'm like if he was like a shadow broker type of underworld gang leader, right? And he's collecting all this type of shit. I'm here for it. But when he came out with the fur and the chest out, and I'm like, nah, bro, what is this?
Nah, bro.
I wasn't here for it.
Here's the thing. If you don't have Thanos, who's a more superpower in the galaxy, who's like the big bully, or Ronan that went under Thanos, like you don't have these people. So who else would come up top who has that reach or power? Wouldn't the Collector be something naturally fall into that place?
Yeah,
I think
he agrees with that.
I agree with the fact that the vacuum being filled by the Collector makes sense.
But to turn him into a Thanos physical character,
into like a Thanos Kingpin type of character, which I thought was a miss when he should have been like a underworld.
That's interesting.
Like
that's interesting take.
Because he's still collecting, he's still dealing, he's still doing his thing.
Right, so he had time to stop collecting to just lift.
He's in jail and he's
took a lot of creatine.
245
down in the creatine. Just,
right.
Just every day. Every day.
You're
No breaks.
not mad about the Collector being that big guy. You're just mad that he's brolic?
I'm mad about how they portray him to be like this really super strong character when I would have preferred him to be like a really calculated, slimy type of dude who's controlling all the strings in the back end.
Yeah.
And that's what I didn't.
So wouldn't that be too close to the actual Collector? Isn't this intended to be a different take?
I guess. I mean, I hear you.
It's his variant. It's his variant.
I'm not changing my mind.
I mean, we got a variant Gator Loki.
Right, exactly.
I mean, this Collector is collecting protein shakes. We know that.
Like I said, like on paper, him filling up the vacuum makes sense. I just didn't care for like the take of how he got there.
Yeah. George, we're attacking George with this one.
Yeah, you know what, Tone? I was a little confused by how big the dude was. And I was going to ask you guys, like, is there a storyline where, like, the Collector becomes, like, this big? And I almost
you didn't check that episode?
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yo, I almost sound like V's friend. Yo, with the Collector. So I agree with Tone. I don't know what.
So he took the horny goat weed and everything. Like, he just maxed it, right?
But now I'm thinking that the reason for that is because in that final scene where he's fighting T'Challa and he's got I guess they figured he's got to look menacing, otherwise this guy's just gonna kick his ass. So we have to do something to make him look menacing. They
didn't have the character development required.
He had a fucking legendary power up. What are you talking about? He had a cape. It was like a fucking Zelda workshop.
I agree.
Take this.
Breathe, Tom. Breathe. I agree.
He had every weapon.
But he's not gonna take that out, and that's for money. He's a collector. Why? You know, I don't take out my collectibles to you.
No. First of all, he's not the type of collector where he collects and sells. He's the type of collector where he sees what you have and he takes it and adds it. There is no transaction here.
So wait. Is he that kid that takes your Pokemon card and doesn't give you an even trade?
Yes, like I did to a kid for a Charizard. I gave the motherfucking stickers. I've lived that part.
Wow.
Stickers for Charizard?
Wow.
I was
poor
like 8.
kid, you're the worst.
So Tone has already had his villain arc.
Listen.
No, what I did in junior high school, I would take my Marvel cards to school, but I would only bring the doubles to trade to cards that I didn't have.
But that only works when you're a bigger dude. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, see,
that tactic only works when you're bigger than the person you're doing it.
Exactly.
The items are an artificial penis. What are you talking about?
What?
All the printing contests. T'Challa has no superpowers. He's a fucking human who's like really charismatic. He's got 20s in all his stats except for like strength. Like, come on, no.
He's got maxed out.
No, but he's still smart. He still has agility. He didn't have any super strength.
That's what I'm saying.
Listen,
I think
the funny thing is that I agree with Tom, but he's like ready to Like if we weren't behind the
it's
screen,
fine.
this
We've never been this polar opposite. It's usually like we're all just on cloud nine, like, oh, this shit's amazing.
I love it. Yeah, no, I think I was confused by the way he looked, but yeah, other than that, it didn't bother me as much as it bothered Tone.
No, Tone brings up an even better point because I don't know if anybody, I haven't heard this on anything, but wouldn't he have not received the power of the purple herb?
Yeah, he did.
By the time he was so he's completely
human.
Yeah, he's not half celestial.
Yeah,
like,
he's not
Peter's half celestial. Solid straight human.
All he has, it's just straight human intellect.
Yeah, I think that was just for the what if rushed, like we don't have time to develop this character. Let's just make him physically menacing and get it.
Right.
So I can see what Tony is talking.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not as animate about it because I know he's anti-swole on anybody except Tony. You know what I mean? What it is, I'm just saying.
Except for Galahad, right?
I'm just saying that the collector coming out looking like he belongs in the fucking he's about to fight Batman. Like, I'm not here for it. Like, I
don't mind
just
it.
wrong with that. Hashtag no soul collector. Let's get it out there.
He's got all his items. He got all his power-ups. He's got to attune to 3 of them, and he's got the whole fucking box.
Yo, how did he get the headdress? Like, I'd want to know that story.
Yeah, dude.
I want to know
all that. That would be a dope story.
I know.
I get it. He got the shield. He got the knife. He got the the hammer. I want to see how he got the headdress.
The Hello one was that.
Yeah. That was bad. That was bad.
I admit this woman had style.
Like he did.
Yeah.
I'm like.
Well,
respect.
I mean, I don't want to stick on the collector too long. I know I think we all wait in our point in collector right now. we either like him swole or we don't like him swole.
Oh man,
I love you all, but
So it's like I love you all.
You know what? Let's get let's. I want to because we didn't touch up on Hutch's and Laws and Vmac's opinion on the collector. So we'll start with you, V. How did you feel about the collector?
I didn't mind it. It worked for the show. I think it did his role, what he was meant to be here. It's just, again, it's a what if. I don't overthink these things. Like, it's just not something I'm going to. I enjoyed what they gave me. I like this episode more than the first one, but it was good. It was good. It doesn't bother me in any way that he was swole. I was intrigued about some of the things that he had in his collection.
He had an X-Wing, by the way. I don't know if y'all caught that.
Yeah. I saw that.
I gotta see it.
I have to watch it again.
With all of the chips, when they had the picture with all the chips where he ran across.
Right. I liked Howard the Duck being in there. That was a good throw-in.
Yes.
That was pretty cool. We did not see. I would have liked to have seen Gamora, but I understand where she didn't fit in this particular story. Right. It was just good. Imagine we had Gamora in one of the collectors too.
Ooh, could have.
That would have been great.
I mean, we're seeing her soon because we see her in the Thanos armor and the helicopter sword. So I'm dope. I'm excited for that.
Law, let's wait. Law, wait.
I'm pretty much beat for beat with Vmac right now. Where I'm like, it was a thing. He was big. Cool. I'm here for it. Like, do your thing, bro. You still have the obnoxiously gaudy, like, fur and glasses and the arrogant behavior. I'm here for it. Let's do it.
Hutch?
You know what? I think Tone convinced me. I think Tone really, I mean, he drove a really hard wedge between, like, when I think about it, I was like, that's just lazy. Like, y'all just made him swole for no reason. Like, I don't even want to see this hashtag make it to a trending topic. You know what I'm saying? I think you should put it out there. I'm telling
hashtag swole collector.
No swole collector. No, you have to put no swole collector. No swole. Put it up on the board. Like, let's see it happen. But no, I mean,
no Jim.
I saw it. Like, I think I definitely take the Vmac. You know, it's a what if series. I'm just going to enjoy the ride and not worry about it too much. But to see Tone's passion about it. Like it resonates. Because he talks a lot about like, oh, y'all too emotional, that kind of shit. But when you hit his notes, like all comes on, like it's all.
See, but you notice that I'm not talking about shit's coming from my gut. I'm like,
exactly. It's all up here. It's all up here. He's only emotional in his head, y'all.
I told you this was
not
gonna be a good
emotional
one.
here. He's emotional here.
God.
No, but I no, it actually brings up a very like interesting part on something that I didn't pay enough attention to. So I really appreciate Tone for bringing that to light.
Mm-hmm.
So last two characters I want to touch up on because there's a lot of characters in this. I want to touch up on Nebula and Thanos. How did Nebula and Thanos? How did you guys feel about Nebula and Thanos? Who wants to take this one first? Because I mean we've been getting everyone to. You know what, George, we're gonna put you on the spotlight. We're gonna put you first.
All right. So Nebula. So apparently, now that there is no Gamora, there's no whoa. Okay. Now
Okay. Yeah. I told
Like,
you.
whoa.
Now that there is no Gamora, there's no sibling rivalry, I guess, right?
Mhm.
And then there's no longer a reason for her to try to outdo what her sister was doing, or try to get the love that Thanos was given to Gamora, and she would. So now she could be more herself. She's got the blonde hair. She's chilling. She's, you know what I mean? Like it's just a different upbringing. And I think that part of the reason why, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe this is, so now that Thanos is good Thanos, he didn't go to Gamora's planet and kill all of her family and now takes her with him, right? So that never happened. Now all he has is just Nebula. So Nebula can now be, happy just to be with her dad, who embarrasses her at parties when he talks about the snap and how he's right. And she's like, oh, Dad. So it was nice to see that part of it, but she still has that sneaky side to her where, like that plan that she had with T'Challa, how they were going to do things, and she kept it close to so that it was a really, really nice to see her in a different light. It was good. I like Nebula.
Right.
Hutch.
Yo, I think I had a bit of a pause because when she first entered, how she entered and how they started to kind of build her character. I was watching her, you know what I mean? So I think they played off of that and did it purposely, obviously, that so people would have that suspicion of her character right out the gate. So I thought that was pretty cool how they, did the double switch and, I was really working all along. And that's some T'Challa level shit right there. So I was happy to see that. But, at the end of the day, I think it was really cool to see a softer side of her character, because her character has been so directed and purposefully one note, for so long. And to see kind of, here's what would happen if I put my brain power on something other than my sister. You know what I mean? Like that kind of resonance, I think, worked out really well. I was very happy to see the whole where they play, adopted kind of thing, like Thor and Loki and that kind of stuff. I thought that was funny that they played with that a little bit. But yeah, it was just nice to see a different side of the character, and I was happy it was the same actress that got to voice her as well as a lot of the other characters. So
yeah.
Val, you tagged in.
Oh, I enjoyed her. She was wow. Okay.
Why are we doing this?
Thank you. I enjoyed her. I think that it was a different take. We don't see her as this character, and again, like a variant. It was just a different way to give her, without being so broody, so negative, so angry. All the extra robotics replaced in her. She was able to be who maybe she was intended to be before she was ruined, So we got to see that part of her, and I thought that was a pretty good thing. I mean, they all carried something different. Like even Drax, he was still Drax, but he had his family and he was happy and he was like, oh yeah. So it was just this, it was definitely an insight to a different perspective. So it was nice to see. I enjoyed what they did with it.
Yo, Tone, would you have wanted to see a little Drax, like a thin Drax? Because he's been bartending,
Right.
you know what I mean? So he's been bottle filled, you know what I mean?
No,
Right.
I'm good. I'm good.
Full Drax.
I am good with what we got with Drax.
Yo,
as I had mentioned when the whole controversy of Batista not being brought in to voice the character, and we talked about it, and I was kind of like,
are we mad about that? I mean,
no,
I
didn't give a shit. I was just like, because I said, odds are he's not gonna be a big part of the show.
All right.
So I mean, like the same thing. I love that they got Stanley Tucci for Captain Carter, but we didn't need Stanley Tucci to say fucking 5 lines.
Right.
You know, he could have just ad-libbed his fucking audio from the movie. Like, I don't think the man needed to be in the studio reading it.
It might have been in his contract.
I don't know. They'd be getting you with those contracts, bro. Marvel don't play.
Even
if you die, it's like you can still come back 10 years later. Anyway, so no, I don't have an issue with Drax still being swollen. The fact that he has his family, so he's a happy person. You know,
he is a happy person.
He should have been fatter. Is that what it should have been?
No, I mean, no.
Yo, you get the Thor. Yeah, you get the Thor belly, young Thor.
Right.
Yo,
buddy Thor.
Yeah,
listen, this is essentially I love what they did with all these characters, especially characters like Drax and Nebula, who are characters that we're seeing devoid of the trauma that they went through in our main continuity. Right. That's it. Like this entire what if episode was fun. What if there was less trauma in the world? What if we were allowed to be happy and not have the things that trauma shaped for us dictate the rest of my life? Ooh. That's really what it was. And then you also have Thanos, who's like, oh, you know what? That sounds like he still wants, like someone said, and we've all said he still wants his plan to be a plan, and he still thinks it's a fully rational plan. But he's like, your plan's a little bit better. Let's go with it, and it worked
until it does not
work. And you prove me wrong.
If you prove right, I'll put that glove on. But we're good right now, so I don't have to put that glove on. Right. So I think it was really cool.
I love that you put that exclamation on there, Law. And again, as we're talking about Thanos, let's give a big shout out to Thanos, as we love the character and everything right here.
Wow.
That's dope. That is dope.
By our own guest host, Val, Vmac, putting that out there.
Oh, this you?
Yeah.
Oh, this you?
That's amazing, dude. Look at that.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, that's dope.
Thanks, Sebas.
That literally made all the things you said earlier.
All the stuff all embarrassed.
No, that's oh my god.
I did this.
It made all the stuff you said earlier not make any more sense. Like that makes sense anymore. Like confidence and blah blah blah, and I don't really think I'm that great. Awesomeness, and then
you see the pencils.
That
doesn't compute. That doesn't compute. That zero here. Like the shit don't.
That computes like a swole collector. It just doesn't work.
The math doesn't work.
All day time. All day. From now on. That's it.
That's old. No, that's really old.
Even worse. Even worse. This is something I did in my spare time back in the day. Go ahead. I got you. I see you. I see you now. I see you. That's what Sebastian does. He makes it where I see people. Now I see you. Now what happened?
Listen, but this episode was a highlight of everything, of creativeness, creators talking about stuff that we like. Again, for those who are catching this at the end, it's been about the webtoons that George just launched for Russ 5377. It's been about what Hutch has created in Inbeon, uniting the Inbeon family. It's been about what we love to do, us here at the Nerds, just talk about geek stuff, and it's been about showcasing artists, which Vmac, which I'm glad to call a friend, get to know and see and showcase the artwork and all that, and share it with many people. This has been a fun episode, guys.
It's been great.
This has been off the rails. Like I said, it was going to be a deluxe episode. We got that deluxe right there.
It definitely was.
So we're going to play that outro now again, and we'll talk more in the green room. But again, this has been another great episode of Nerds of the Rounds, guys. Catch us next week. Catch us this Friday. And catch us this weekend, 28th, 29th, Inbeon Con. Wait,
Inbeon Con. No Swole Collector.
No swole collector.
Hey,
No swole.
get it out there.
I'm gonna make a swole collector just so you can put it right behind.
Yes.
There we go. Yes. Yeah. A swole collector
There's your
standing right next to
inspiration.
Galahad.
There's your inspiration, B.
Galahad.
Yo, Vmac.
Petty is a strong
Yo.
motivator.
Oh my god.
Good night, guys.
It's that time again. Inbeon Con 2021 is almost here, and it's better than ever. Join me, some of the Project Infinity cast, and Amy Davis for the live panel Breaking Into Voice Acting on Saturday, August 28th at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Then join the fun again on Sunday at 2:30 p.m. for the panel Dive Into Voiceover, featuring the pro voiceover cast from Project Infinity. Inbeoncon has countless incredible panels and events planned that are sure to suit your fancy, whatever it may be. Tom Aglio will be on the Marketing for Creatives panel August 28th at 12 p.m. You can catch Kevin Go on Streaming 101 at 2 p.m. And then on the 29th, I'll be a part of the live panel How to Create a Compelling Character at 1 p.m. All these panels and so much more will be free and easy to access through Inbeon.com. Inbeon Con, the con for creatives. Get your free tickets today at Inbeon.com. See you there!